Welcome, Inner Tubes. Blue Unicorn here. Blue Unicorn would like to congratulate Blue Unicorn for achieving 170 and then 172 and then back down to 170 and then 171 and then up to currently 181 subscribers. Incidentally, the Blue Unicorn subscriber count is rising faster than Blue Unicorn can manifest an idea into two-dimensional form plus time, which is considered a fourth dimension, although experts of physics may disagree. Anywho, it has risen so rapidly that Blue Unicorn did not get a video made fast enough to be funny for the Unicornium's attendee that was in fact subscriber number 138. This number is significant to Blue Unicorn, but Blue Unicorn is unsure why that might be. All hail the 3, and the sacred 20, and 111, and now, all hail 138. Blue Unicorn would like to congratulate Blue Unicorn for congratulating the letter L and another letter L for being 138. Blue Unicorn once bet the letter L and another letter L that Blue Unicorn would never catch the letter L and another letter L's subscriber count, and so far, Blue Unicorn is still winning. That being said, on with the show. Blue Unicorn is often perceived as the incessant cynic, or one whom takes the jam from Turkish's donut.
You took the fucking jam out of my donut, Tommy. You did.
Well, every party needs a pooper, and thusly, Blue Unicorn. However, this is because of stoplight theory. Blue Unicorn being a hyperdimensional being and yet existing within only two dimensions upon one screen, has a list of axiomatic thought structures often outside of normal comprehensions of the three-dimensional being. One such idea is stoplight theory. Let Blue Unicorn say, hypothetically, one is approaching a green light at cruising speed, and then the light turns amber. One can approach this idea from three or more sides, but three of which are: A. One assumed that the light would change, and so slowed to a cautious speed, as so when the light turned yellow, one was prepared to stop before the light turns red, and so one is not annoyed because one knew it would happen. Or 2. One can assume the light would stay green, and so now this prediction would be wrong, and now one must stop abruptly, and so now causing one to become angry or otherwise annoyed because what one thought would happen did not. Or D. Run the yellow light and or red light and risk any number of possible unpredictable timelines and or outcomes. Blue Unicorn, before embarking on an adventure or other, tends to imagine multiple timelines in effort to visualize any and every possible worst-case scenario in effort to choose the proper timeline for the most favorable outcome, whilst being fully prepared for the worst. There is an old Viking saying, "Praise the ice when crossed." Or in this case, praise the green light when passed. What Blue Unicorn is trying to say is that understanding from all combined knowledge from past, present, anecdotal, statistical, and available information in effort to see the most likely outcome is not being cynical at all. It is instead rational and intelligent, and is why, when one's buddies want one to join said buddies in smoking a bowl in the car outside in the bar parking lot, and one says,
Yeah, no, that's a dumb idea.
one will not be present when the inevitable citations are issued. No matter how much those believed one jinxed them, it was merely one probable outcome that was bound or likely to happen. However, there is a downside to stoplight theory. A person that Blue Unicorn very much dislikes once said,
I think you made that happen just so you could be right.
in point of reference, it was not so. Blue Unicorn absolutely predicted an outcome 2 years before it happened, having considered the pattern of events thus far and the likelihood of that outcome, and then that outcome occurred, in the order predicted. However, Blue Unicorn does not like to admit it, but there is actually some credence to this unliked person's accusatory remark. You see, prescient sight was the undoing of Muad'Dib. Muad'Dib traveled all the possible timelines and saw all possible outcomes, and then was forced to choose the only possible path to ensure the universe did not come undone. In doing so, he became locked within that timeline, and so this outcome became predestined and unavoidable. So, in a nutshell, a saying from an ancient tome once read, "Be careful for what you wish, or your wish may be granted," or some such thing. So, in stoplight theory, this conundrum is conceptualized as, if one is consistently slowing down for possible and hypothetical red lights, one will always have to stop instead of any celebrating to be had when and if the light would have or does in fact stay green. But lastly, the option of consequences be damned and not thinking or preparing and existing in the now causes one to run a few red lights. Blue Unicorn agrees that sometimes this is okay, but sometimes it is not, and several of those timelines are wrought with pain and suffering. In conclusion, some things cannot be undone, and some lost opportunities cannot be regained. But hoping for the best is precisely the moment when the ice cracks open and the river stakes its claim to you. Blue Unicorn is not saying one should not cross the ice. Blue Unicorn only says, at least tie a safety line or some other measure, just in case. So, if foreseeing things that usually can and do go wrong, and thusly preparing for the worst while wishing for the best makes Blue Unicorn a party pooper, one can expect some aroma at your party, if only to serve as a voice of reason and to avoid some crap in one's own pants. Well, then so be it. One might find themselves at a few extra stoplights, but when the light does stay green, it will be cause for celebration rather than a source of annoyance or anger when it does not. This concludes Episode 4 of What is a Blue Unicorn and Why is it Important?
Brought to you in part by the letters L and L and the number 138. unicorn fans out.